and sucking a pacifier in jail?
Well, let's see. That would be episode 2.
No.
That's what happened to him in episode 2.
And
Remember,
now
she
it's
put him back in jail.
Now it's episode 3.
Okay. Let's see if I can come up with something here. Alexa, lights off. All right. So, Bad Dragon, episode 3, takes place on an island where all the bad dragons get sent, called Alcatraz, off the coast of California. And the whole thing about that island is if they happen to break out, they'd have to swim all the way back because they clip the dragon's wings when they go there.
Good.
Yes, that's how they keep him there. So, they sent him up to Alcatraz with all the other bad dragons. But while he was there, he met one particular dragon and told his story to this dragon. And he said, these leopards...
It was a female dragon.
Yeah. Oh, the one that went? Well, yeah.
The one talking.
Okay, she told her story to the other dragon. She said, I need to get those leopards.
No. The bad dragon in sucking the pacifier is the boy. But the one who's talking to is the girl.
Okay. Well, for the purposes of our story, we'll assume that they allowed that in prisons. But, yes, the bad dragon was sitting there sulking. And the girl came up and said, hey, what's your deal? What are you in for? And he said, I'm innocent, I tells you. It was these pesky kid panther,
Kid element power leopards.
Element power leopards. That's right, leopards. And
No.
and their dad, Def Leopard, who decided that I was picking on them, so she did some crazy magic, put me in a diaper and a pacifier and threw me in jail. And the girl just started laughing at him. She's like, you had a diaper? Oh, did you make poopy pants? And he's like, stop, that's not funny. And she's like, I'm just kidding. Let me help you figure out how to get back at him. And first, we got to break out of this prison. He said, well, we can't. They clipped our wings, and I can't swim. And she said, but every Thursday at 2:31 in the afternoon, they bring in a helicopter for the warden to fly out. We're going to take that helicopter. And he said, but we can't fit on a helicopter. We're dragons. Hello?
No.
What?
How
come you keep telling me my story?
I'm not telling you the story. I'm reminding you that they're actually 10 and 11. The female is 10.
Oh, they're 10 and 11.
The female's 10. The one sucking the pacifier and wearing diapers is 11.
Okay. At any rate, they're still too big for a helicopter. She
No,
said.
they aren't.
And she said, I've already thought of that. I have a shrink ray. We're going to shrink down and jump in the helicopter. And we're going to be small enough, they're not even going to know we're there. And he's like, well, there's a plot hole here because if we could do that, we could just ride off in a boat. But whatever, we're going to do it your way. And she's like, all right, come on, Poopy Pants, Captain Poopy Pants. And he's like, that's not funny. She said, I don't care. That's your nickname from now on, Captain Poopy Pants. And then she started laughing at him again. He's like, that's not funny. And so Captain Poopy Pants got a good night's sleep. They got up in the morning for chow, which is prison talk for food or some type of thing that goes in their stomach they call food. Anyway, so they get done with chow. And then it's time to go outside to the rec yard, which is where they play. And they walk over to the water fountain, which she had actually secretly replaced with a shrink ray. So she says, go get some of that water. And He's like, well, I'm not thirsty. And she says, go get water. And then she kind of winks at him. And he goes, oh, right. So I'm going to go get some water then. He's like, that's right. Go on, Pet Captain Poopy Pants. And so he goes over and he pushes the button and bazap! Poof. It looked like he disappeared. But she walks over to get water and she just hears this, watch out! And she's like, oh! And she moves her foot real quick. You almost stepped on me. And then she's like, oh, you're like a little cute little tiny Poopy Pants now. And he's like, that's not funny. Stop saying that. And so she pushes a button and whoop-pow! She shrinks down. And when she does start talking like this, she's like, hey, let's get out of here, man. It's going to take us a while to get there because we're tiny. So they start running. And they run for like ever and ever and ever. And he's like, are we almost there? And she goes, we've only made it to the bathroom. He's like, oh, we got these tiny legs. So they keep running. Finally, they get to the chopper. And they're almost late because their tiny little legs couldn't get there in time. So they're trying to run really fast in the chopper. And they have to get there before the chopper starts because the wind from the blade would just blow them away. So they're running and running. They see the warden walk out and they look at each other like, no! And he's walking toward the helicopter. And right about then, the blades kind of start slowly turning. And she looks at him and he looks at her and he's like, if those blades turn on, we're done for. So they run as fast as they can.
But then...
What?
The female... They cut the female's clamps on her wings off.
Yeah, they clip their wings. So I can't fly.
No.
What?
They cut her wing so she could fly.
Well, when you clip a bird's wings, they have to grow back eventually. You can't just put them back on. So they didn't have that option. Anyway, the warden walks right by, doesn't notice them because they're so tiny. And she's like, I have an idea. Grab his shoelace. And so they both grab his shoelace when he walks by and they're like, whoa! They're swinging all around in the air. Whoa! She's like, be quiet. You're going to let him hear you. And he's like, he can't hear us. He's got a helicopter starting. And so finally, boom, he gets onto the chopper. They're on his shoe. And they just look at each other like, ha, 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 we're going to get out of this place. We're busting out of this taco stand. So the chopper starts up. Boom, they fly back. And the warden gets there and they get off the helicopter. And they're totally safe. They had broken out of prison. Then he looks at her. He's like, sir, how are we going to go back to normal size? And she goes, I better let them think of that. I don't know. And then he's like, oh, good. So now I'm Captain Poopy Pants and Tiny. You can't fix this? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think of that. Maybe we can find a growth ray somewhere. And so they went on a hunt for a growth ray. Well, as it happens, they happen to run by this place called Bob's Bait and Tackle and Growth Rays. I mean, just blind luck. How can you possibly have gotten that lucky? So they walk into the store and they look up at Bob and he looks down at them and they go, we need a growth ray. And Bob goes, yeah, I could have guessed that. That'll be $3,949. And they're like, we don't have any money. We're too small. Do you take Bitcoin? And he goes, yeah, actually I do. So they transferred like 2 Bitcoin to him because it's not worth much now. And then they got their growth ray and he pointed at him, boom. Then they started getting too big and he's like, get out of the store quick. And they're like running towards the door and barely made it under the door in time before they grew bigger. Finally, they were back to normal size. And so he looks at her. He's like, how are we going to get those leopards? I want them to pay for my poopy pants. And she's like, I don't know. I'm going to have to give it thought. But I'll tell you what we are going to do in the next story. Ba ba ba.
I want this to be the last episode that we have.
Stay tuned for episode 4. And now a word from our sponsors. Okay,
it's episode 4 now.
Bop. Say goodnight.
It's episode 4 now. Bye-bye.